So my name is Bill Clinton, and I'm the local councilman in Upper Providence, and that's in Delaware County in the state of Pennsylvania. And in the presidential contest leading up to the election of Barack Obama, I was heavily involved, or as involved as I could be. I walked in, or I started out in March, so I was walking into the Obama office, which was set up in a very good location in the, let's see, what was the town? In Springfield. And I walked in, and one, there was a big space, which I really liked. Two, I was greeted right away and pulled into the organization. And I identified myself as a councilman and somebody that wanted to do the real local stuff about getting Barack elected. And the other piece of it was that I've been involved with Democrats, probably certainly since I got elected, very actively in the last 5 years, but throughout my life. And my wife, who had been my campaign manager, was working for Hillary Clinton. So we had what we termed a mixed marriage. And I walked in and was immediately pulled into a local team that included John and others. And the thing that I was struck by was the way in which they worked to establish teams, the way they worked to get us connected to each other, and then to get us focused to go out and do the stuff that needed to be done, which was one, registration, two, contacting voters to see where they stood. And the approach that I took was, I'm in a township of 11,000 people, and I represent a district of about 2,000. So I focused my efforts on walking my particular district. One, because I like to be in touch with people, and two, because I know people, and three, because I felt that I could be most effective with them working for Barack. And I guess my own story is that there was a level of activity that went up to the primary, and one of the things that I liked about the campaign was it remained very focused on getting the vote out and getting organized for get out the vote day. So then the results were that Barack lost to Hillary Clinton in Pennsylvania, but he continued to do well across the country. So this was what I would describe as a mixed result. And that was, the primary was April 22nd, and I'd say 6 weeks after that, after Barack had secured the nomination and had enough delegates and the like, we had a meeting at our office and I forget what we called it, but it was essentially Mary the Clinton worker and Bill the Obama worker were coming together, and we pulled together working with the Obama organization. Not really the organization, because they had left on until the primaries, but people like John and Mary Lee and others to pull together a meeting of those folks that had worked on the 2 different primaries. And the format that we adopted was, this was really about coming together, but before we did, we needed to really grieve the loss of Hillary's campaign. And what we, after introductions and getting around the room, we had an opportunity to just ask, so where are you now? What is your feeling about the campaign and your feeling about the loss or the fact that Hillary had lost the whole nomination? And I would say the meeting was very good, because people were able to present themselves and where they were in the moment, and there was a full range of everything from very angry and very betrayed to where my wife was, which was, she accepted the loss, she was moving to work with Obama, and she remains concerned that Obama would not be able to win the election, and that was her big thing. So as a group, we began to come together, and I would say one of the most important things out of that meeting, which is always the case, which is getting to meet people and know who the other folks are in the room. So in any case, that happened. The other way in which we have been fortunate in being involved in different campaigns is we live in a house where our kids have gone off. One's 30 and one's 34, so we have what we call a guest room. Well, this guest room has been occupied by coordinators of different campaigns, and at first there was, who was it that came in?
Jessie.
Jessie, that's right. So Jessie came in, and she was working out of the media office and with us for a month, and just a delightful young woman from Connecticut, I believe. And she, after a month, they organized differently, and she was going to go work in Ardmore, so she took off, and we lived with another couple that was closer to Ardmore, and we let the campaign know that the vacancy sign was up, and if somebody wanted to come in and be involved in the campaign or live with us, they could. And we were very fortunate that Peter, who was going to eventually run the Chester office for the campaign, came in, and he ended up being with us, well, for about 3 months. Very delightful guy. When you host somebody in a campaign, you develop a relationship with them, but you don't spend a lot of time with them because they leave at 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, and they get home at 12 or 1 o'clock. So it's not like you're sitting around watching TV together. What you're having is snippets of conversations, usually in the morning. I don't meet people at night at 1 o'clock when they come in. But both experiences were very good. And as an elected official, what I tried to do is just be working with the different offices. So there was Joe Sestak was running for Congress. Barack had an office in media. He had an office in Chester. This represented a great opportunity for us for me to learn more about Chester, because Chester is a very impoverished community, just 7 or 8 miles from our community. And I'm developed more higher level of comfort working in Chester, walking in their neighborhoods, walking with the leaders from their community. But first of all, the thing that I do that I'm very comfortable doing is going door to door. So I did a lot of that, and I also as we got closer to the election, also got on the phone to call people, and that was for me it was less than exciting, because one night I think I called 40 people and got to speak to 3, so all the others were phone messages and the like. So the last thing, a couple of things that I would like to say just by way of wrapping this up is, one is this was a campaign unlike any other campaign that I've been involved in, and I sensed that from the day that I walked into the Obama office. There was an excitement, there was a commitment to work together, and a real appreciation for the process of creating teams and working together as teams. There was also a tremendous diversity, age-wise, what people, where they worked, and class, and for certainly racially. And there was a real excitement to be able to use this campaign to bridge the divide, and we were doing it just by who was in the room and what we were doing. And the last thing is, as an elected official and somebody that's been involved in the party, and we can turn people out on election day, but we really need people to volunteer and become more involved in the campaign. And the fantasy is that all these people that show up for the presidential campaign will stay involved locally, and that never happens. But we have, in this election, identified any number of people that really do want to remain involved and really are committed to the process and are just trying to figure out how to do it in such a way that they feel that they can have an impact. And that to me is very exciting. When I go back and look at our particular area, which has been Republican for, 100 years, 200 years, 300 years, I got elected as the first Democrat in Upper Providence in '05. In '06, Joe Sestak got elected, and he unseated a 20-year Republican congressman. And then a year later, Barack Obama came in, and there was a very active primary with Hillary Clinton, and he went on to win. So I see in this suburban area right outside of Philadelphia a real shift going on, and I know it's going to continue. And I'm committed to it. And that's my story. Thanks for listening.